Okay, let's finish box one and get Edric, Spymaster of Trest's power level review out of the way. I've been thinking of the terms I've been using. Power level review. So, what makes a powerful deck? Is it the strength of the actual cards in the deck? Is it the expensive cards, the reserve list cards, the cream of the crop, best of their class? Or is it the synergy, the way the cards, the whole package works together? Some decks can have a disjointed package, not really working together, but just on the sheer quality of the cards appear powerful, until it really gets screwed with and it shows that the strategy, the lack of strategy, just is starting to work against you. The reason I say all that is Edric, my build of Edric is not powerful in and of itself because of the cards. Well, of course the cards make up the deck. Because of the power level of the cards. There's no mana crypt. There's no time spiral. I can't think offhand of some other great green cards. There's no mana drain. Nothing like that. He does have some powerful cards, some key cards, as you'll see in a moment. But the main thing is this deck is consistent and resilient. So Edric is a 1 blue, 1 green, 3 CMC total 2/2 elf rogue with a political aspiration. So whenever creatures deal combat damage to anybody that isn't you, the controller gets to draw a card. So you always point out your opponents, hey, you two over there, if you hit each other, you get cards. If you hit me, you get nothing. Nothing at all. So, give them something else to think about. My deck is roughly balanced, half blue, half green. A friend of mine's deck, though, his is all in elves. It is an elf deck that just splashes blue only for Edric. And it is strong, and if it gets going, it comes out of the gate so fast, you really don't have time to stop it. But if you can stop it, or he doesn't get out of the gate, he stumbles. Because his game plan is so focused on such a tight leash that if that leash snaps and he loses control of his game plan, yeah, he pretty much loses control of the game. We tested it. We played 1-on-1, my Edric versus his, and he beat me bad one game. He beat me down with forest walking elves I couldn't do anything about. The other 2 games, though, I beat him down because I'm just slower, but I'm more resilient. So let's go through. Alright, these are the forests I chose. I just thought that for some reason these Ravnik forests evoke a place that I think Edric would live. I don't know what Trest looks like. I haven't really seen any cards that more holistically show me what the city looks like, but I imagine it looks something like that. So there's forest. Okay, Seedborn Muse. This is part of the resiliency, the consistency. So during my turn, I get to untap. During everybody else's turn, I get to untap with them. So I get to have blockers when I shouldn't. I get to cast counter spells when I shouldn't. Seedborn Muse does a lot of good work in this deck. Also, she tops out the mana curve at 5. The only thing I believe that has a higher CMC is, well, effectively Cyclonic Rift, because it costs 7. Come on, it costs 7. So my build is a bunch of little 1/1 creatures that either have some come into play ability, some enter the battlefield ability, like this guy. Show the top card. If it's land, put it in play. Otherwise, put it in my hand. With the ways of getting them through. So this is part of the resiliency package. So this is flash. When it comes into play, creatures you control gain Shroud, and you sacrifice it unless green was spent to play it. So if you spend green blue, you get to keep it as a creature. If you just spend 1 in a blue, it's a basically evoke. So I was wrong. I do have something at 6. Sun Quan, Lord of Wu. So my creature is of horsemanship. The goal with Edric, the way I've built him, is I want to get things through. So I have a lot of things with evasion. I have a lot of ways of giving them evasion at the expense of having creatures with a high power or toughness. So if somebody puts something out like Caltrops or Ether Flash, I'm kind of screwed until I can get rid of it, if I can get rid of it. Ether Flash would pretty much wreck my day. So Counterspell on a stick, followed up by Counterspell on a stick. Counterspell, no stick. It's funny how those line up all together. Jesus Christ. Trigon Predator. I remember when this was about a 20-year-old card, and then they reprinted it, and it fell like a rock, and it has not recovered. This is a foil original Dissension Trigon Predator, and I think now it's worth about €3 when it was once at about 20. So whenever we hit somebody, I can destroy an artifact or enchantment they control. And the evasion for him is the flying. So flying isn't the most reliable evasion anymore. I understand that. But as long as it has some kind of get off the ground, get through, shadow, slink through, then it interests me, and I consider it for this deck. Although I haven't changed. Yeah, those are his islands. Those are the islands I chose. I love Young Hans. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. I love his art. That's just beautiful to look at. Anyway, so Lotus Cobra. I can sneak him through with some of the effects that I have. Helps me get mana. There's my first colorless land. Excuse me. So one of the mini themes, personal themes I have with this Edric, I have a lot of cards in German. So this is Yafamaya Hollow. Taps 1 colorless or green, tap, regenerate target creature. Speaking of German, Frostbringer. That just sounds cool, doesn't it? So this is a key card in my build of Edric. Absolutely key. If I can drop this down early and all my creatures are small, or I've got a lot of mana creatures, then I can break the symmetry and I can start pushing ahead of my opponents because they'll be stuck for their lands, and I'll be able to get enough small creatures to poke them with Edric in play, draw cards, get more lands, get more creatures, and just snowball from there. I haven't used her yet. I haven't played Edric in a while. This is one of the last major changes I made. Sure, fair enough. The last change was switching this out for the revised Winter Orb, but it's the same card. Nothing changed except it became Black Border German. So, Zero, whenever you draw your second card each turn, create a 2/2 green. Every time I attack, I should be creating a cat token. And then if I've got the mana available, creatures you control base power toughness XX, where number of cards in your hand. So with Edric, every time I attack with 2 or more creatures, at least half of them should be getting through, or else I'm not attacking. So that should trigger, and I should draw a card. Of course, I only get 1 cat per turn, but Edric is all about small advantages, about eking out the ways to get ahead. So hexproof, unblockable 1/1. So evasive, spontaneous generation. If I've got a bunch of cards in my hand, I can cast this and get a 1/1 green creature token that I can start attacking with the following turn. So that has worked out really well for me. One time I think I had 12 cards in my hand and I got 12 1/1s and started going to town. Just keep counterspell back up. Waldelfen. So German Wood Elves comes into play. Go find a forest. Breeding pool, most likely. Forest. Hope of Girapur. I've had this in play, I've attacked people with it, but I've never sacrificed it to force somebody to make it so they can't cast non-creature spells. It's really hard to choose who to use that effect on sometimes. If everybody's playing a pseudo-creature deck, nobody's really playing anything like Storm, how do you choose? You don't. You just keep Hope around and smash again and draw another card with Edric. I keep wanting to say Edgar. So, Edric. Minamo. Tap, add a blue. Blue, tap, untap target legendary permanent. Which would probably be the Gaea's Cradle. Vanilling Clique. So, Flashy Flyer comes into play at the end of somebody's turn. Next turn I can attack. It has evasion. I can look at people's hand. Yeah. Men of War. I should probably explain all the German cards because you don't know what they are, some of you. So this is an old card from Visions. It's been reprinted as an FNM foil. It comes into play. It's a 2/2 fish. And you return target creature to its owner's hand. It doesn't have flash, but it will make somebody pick up something big. Cloud of Fairies. So untap 2 lands when it comes into play. It does have flying, does have that evasion. I'm going to set that aside so I can clean up that sleeve. Exploration. If I'm going to be drawing cards, I'm going to be wanting to get more lands down. So you can see there's nothing in here that really makes the deck powerful. I've used this to good effect. If I have Gaea's Cradle out and a few blue lands, it's quite easy to bounce something back to the owner's hand and then buy it back, as long as I have the 6 available. So I can do that each turn. Disallow. Okay, here's another key card that some of you might have forgotten about. So Earthcraft. Remember I have the Frostbringer in here, the Winter Orb. So with this, I can tap my fresh creatures that have Summoning Sickness to untap my basic lands, thereby breaking the symmetry of the Winter Orb. So I have ways of untapping my lands, and if my opponents do not, oh, sorry, I'm going to be putting out small creatures and beating you with them. Okay, here's my Reliquary Tower. Nature's Will. Another way to untap all my lands. So whenever one or more creatures I control deal combat damage to a player, they tap all their lands and I untap all my lands. I love this card. I put one in, I got one of the anime ones, one of the new ones, and I was going to put an Animar and realized he really doesn't need it. So I'm not sure where I'm going to put it, but yeah, I really like Nature's Will. Okay, just a way of getting, especially if I have Seedborn Muse. Seedborn Muse makes this card really good. Otherwise, it's just kind of good. Lauren. Alright, here we go. So, if I've drawn a grip of cards with smashing people with Edric, picking them for 1 or 2 damage. So, it's not really killing them, it's annoying them, but I'm not really killing them. I draw a bunch of cards, then at the end of the turn of the opponent preceding me, I dump all the creatures into play. Anybody can cast a creature card of CMC 3 or less whenever they feel like it without paying its casting cost. And no, that's never worked against me in this deck. Sometimes people get out something small. Sometimes people get out they'll cast 1 surprise. But it's not enough to impede the game plan. Biffelstern, Command Tower. Pestermite, so a flashy creature with evasion and a small creature. Comes to play, I can tap her and tap something. Tendersheet Dryad. Cost 5, but at each upkeep, everybody's upkeep, I get a sapling token, and once I hit the city's blessing, I'm pumping out 3/3s with her. Essence Warden. Why not gain some life while I'm at it, and also she can attack. Reflecting Pool. Tradewind Rider. So with the grip of small creatures I have in here, I decided to run Tradewind Rider. Tap to untap creature control. return target permanent to the owner's hand, and it can be land. So if somebody has a land that's giving me problems, I can make them pick it up and I don't have to worry about it until they can play the land again. Otherwise, he's a 1/4 wall. Burgeoning. So I've got exploration, I've got burgeoning 2 for the redundancy. If I have a grip of cards and I can play 2 lands per turn, likely I'll still have lands in my hand if I have drawn enough. So this lets me play along with my opponents. And there she is, Gaea's Cradle. So this is a powerful card. I'm not going to deny that. This is just freaking, it's incredible to play Gaea's Cradle. It feels good. Especially when you have a bunch of small creatures like this guy. So Shadow. When's the last time you saw anybody play a shadow creature at your tables? Probably not too often, unless you got that one guy that just built a shadow deck because he felt like it. So it's got evasion and a bit of looting. There's Pendelhaven, so I can make something like him into a 2/3 just by tapping it. You have my coast, Genesis. Of course I have to figure out a way to get him killed, put him in the graveyard. Beginning of my upkeep, if he's in there I can pay 3 and bring a creature back from a graveyard to my hand. Deranged Hermit, so he comes into play with a bunch of squirrels. If he stays in play, if I don't pay the echo or get him killed otherwise, they're all 2/2 squirrels. So I could expand on the squirrel theme, but I've just not had cause to. Edric is one of the decks where I've not really had cause to deeply examine him and review him and change him. He just works. I mean, 2 for 2/2 Forest Walker. That's not good. That's not a good card. But in this deck, it is. Beastmaster Ascension. Whenever creature you control attacks, you may, and I will, put a quest counter on the Ascension. As long as it has 7 more counters on it, creatures you control get 5/5. So if you attack with 7 creatures at once, bang! There's 7 quest counters. All your creatures get 5, and I've done that before. I've done that before quite a few times. So that's a good card. But most people don't play it outside of token strategies because playing cards, casting them is so slow that it takes a while to build up to Beastmaster Ascension, and people have time to deal with it. Edric, because I should be drawing so many cards, I should have a learn, I should be able to just dump my hand of creatures and smash. It triggers quickly. Same thing if you have a token strategy. You can play, let's say you have 10 tokens. Put this down. On the turn you're going to attack, so your opponent's suddenly, what the hell? Then you attack with those tokens, and this triggers. Get your 7 quest counters. Non-basic land walk. 2 for a 2/1. Okay, who the hell plays that? Nobody. Sea Sprite. It's from Homelands. Flying protection from red, a 1/1. Who plays that? Nobody. But in Edric, all of this is part of the whole package. That's what I was saying. Edric is not powerful. The creatures are kind of weak and underwhelming, except when you look at the whole package. Then they come together into an army. This is funny. So this is Jessian Infiltrator, right? And when I found out it was printed in Russian, I really, really wanted a Russian Infiltrator in foil. And it took me about 2 years of waiting and looking, off and on, to finally find a foil Russian Infiltrator. It's just a 2/2 unblockable. That's all it is. Green, blue, 2/2 unblockable. It's a crap card nobody plays from Shards of Alara. But I love it because it's just funny. I attack you with my Russian Infiltrator. This is another all-star in this deck that is kind of crap. So let's say I have 10 creatures, which is not that hard to do. It's pretty damn easy. I attack one of the lands, or it's Gaea's Cradle, or I just have, let's say I have 8 lands. So all my little 1/2, 1/1 creatures, I make them all into 6/6s. One time with Gaea's Cradle, I made them into 20/20s. It was brutal. I didn't, not just the Cradle, but everything else. So tap all my land, and I made all the creatures into 20/20s at instant speed when they are already attacking. And most of them have flying or some kind of evasion. Ends the game. Crop rotation. Second land, go find my Cradle. Forest. Animar Elves. Sonnenring. Yeah, in German S is Z, I think. Sonnenring. I need to learn my German. There it is, Cyclonic Rift. The big bugaboo. The card I thought of taking out because everybody fucking hates it for good reason. It's the only copy I own. I do not have another Cyclonic Rift. I got rid of all the other ones because it just caused bad feelings, but this one's foil, original. So I want to put it in the deck somewhere. And Edric needs to get his creatures through, so here it is. Cold-Eyed Selkie in German. She's a 1/1 with Island Walk. That's her evasion. Whenever she deals damage, I draws cards according to the amount of damage she deals. So I get an extra card out of here. Oboro, Palast in dein Vulcan. So add a blue, spend 1, put Oboro back in my hand. You remember the spontaneous generation? I can bounce Oboro to have an extra card in my hand if I need to, for example, to have another card for the tokens that I get from spontaneous generation. Yes, this is a beta script sprites. Nobody plays these. Nobody. It's junk. It's the only reason this card has any value is it's beta. If this was revised script sprites, it'd be worth, I don't know, 1 crown. I play it here because it's funny, because I have it, because I like it, and it works. Sylvan Safekeeper. Recently I reviewed the foil price of this guy. I was shocked. I was just, and then I started getting upset with myself because I thought I bought 2, and I don't know where the other one is. But I probably only bought 1, and it's just my mind playing tricks on me that makes me think I bought 2 foil ones. So I could sell him for a good amount of money, but then I wouldn't have it anymore. The Eternal Dilemma. Thelicos Deceiver. 4 for 1/1 with Shadow. Okay, that's crappy. But if he attacks and is unblocked and he's got Shadow, so nobody's going to be blocking him, gain control of the target creature permanently. And then bring him back to Genesis. There's my Revoker. So shuts off different things. Phantasmal Image, just because I haven't played him much. I should take Edric with me this Thursday. Here's my Eternal Witness, bring something interesting back to my hand. Scribranger, flash, section from blue, return force you control to on his hand and tap target creature. Only once per turn. She gets some play, but not much. High Market. River Boa. Ooh, who the hell plays this, right? Island. Breeding Pool. And these sleeves are really not sliding anymore. Venser, Shaper Civil. Pseudo Counterspell on a stick. Ancient Tomb. If I get Ancient Tomb and Winter Orb in my opening hand, Winter Orb, Frostbringer, is coming down immediately. Mary Cat Warrior. First Strike, Forest Walk, Vigilance. Forest. Here's another one. Blast from the Past, eh? So, yeah, that's how I built Edric. Here we go. Here's another powerful card. Survival of the Fittest. Green, throw away a creature card, search your library for creature card, show it to everybody, and put in your hand, and then shuffle. So, throw away Genesis, go find something else, and shuffle. Here is one of the all-stars of the deck. Here is one of the main creatures. So creatures I control with power or toughness 1 or less cannot be blocked. He's unblockable. Riverbow is unblockable. Cold-Eyed Selkie as well. If somebody has an island, she's unblockable anyway. So he gets stuff through, but he's only 1/3. So he ain't hard to kill. And that's the problem. If my opponents are playing things that kill lots of little creatures, I just go dead in the water. I'm like the Bismarck with its rudder locked out with a torpedo. Counterspell on a stick, conditional. Theta Adele. I'm thinking of taking her out because I really don't like searching people's libraries anymore. I really don't want to do that, but she's got Island Walk. She's a 2/2. And sometimes they play something that I want, like a sword. Okay, so probably the last powerful card in the deck, Oko, Thief of Crowns. Yeah, anybody that's played against Oko know what a bastard he is. +2, create a food token. +1, kill somebody's creature, or nerf somebody's creature, nerf somebody's commander. -5, trade, but who does the -5? I think everybody just does the 1. So yeah, he's in here. Hinterland Harbor, Forest, Ghost Quarter. Somebody commented on my Edgar video where I took out Bojuka Bog that I really need some land destruction. Well, I have Vindicate in Edgar, so I can use that. Edric, I suppose I can get a Froststorm. Oh, what was it? The Green Stone Rain from Legends. I can't remember the name now. Or is it Unlimited? Either Unlimited or Legends had a Green Stone Rain, 2 and a green, destroy target land. That would be kind of funny in this deck, but the thing is, then I would want to use it. Because that's all it does, it just destroys a land. At least Ghost Quarter, if I'm tapping it for mana, I'm not destroying somebody's land. And I don't really like destroying people's land unless I have something like a Cradle or you have my Hollow, because it puts them behind and retards their ability to actually be in the game, especially if they're already behind. But anyway, I've got that for reset button. Source Temptation comes into play, steal somebody's creature as long as I keep Sower. Misty Rainforest. I don't know if I shouldn't have bought this. I wanted something special for Edric, and I was building a green-blue deck at the time, so I bought this to put into Edric and move his Zendikar flat non-foil fetch land to that other deck. It's pretty. I don't know, after a while it's just, because it's a fetch land, you put in your graveyard, so you don't appreciate it for very long. It doesn't stick around. Anyway, that's... And I've really gotten away from the intent of the power review. I didn't really... I didn't specify what his power level is. That was my intent when I started this series, is to say what power level the decks are, but I really don't know. I don't know how to quantify it. I don't know what to give him, because for me the power level is always in relation to the other decks at the table. If I'm playing a bunch of unmodified precons from 3 years ago, he's going to wipe the floor with them. If I'm playing a bunch of unmodified precons from now, he's going to get a good game, because the precons now are good. They're more on par with something like Edric. I don't know, but anyway, I have shown you why he is a good deck and where his power comes from the consistency, from the resiliency, from me staying on theme with most of the deck working together as a well-oiled machine. Alright, let me get this posted.